The little boy is being chased by a tiger, with hanging eyes and a white forehead. Just as the tiger is about to pounce on his buttocks, a herd of yaks suddenly charges over. Taking the opportunity, the boy jumps down the dirt slope. Unexpectedly, the herd of yaks also comes galloping after him. One wrong step and he'll be trampled into a pulp. The tiger stands on the slope watching, daring not to take the risk easily. After noticing this, the little boy grits his teeth, rushes forward and grabs a yak's horn. He follows the herd of yaks to get away from the tiger. The long trek makes him fall into a deep sleep. When the boy wakes up, he realizes that the herd of yaks is walking along a winding mountain path. Suddenly, a deafening roar of landslide echoes from afar. They actually run into a debris flow. The boy closes his eyes, jumps off the yak's back, and slides down the stone slope into the water. After choking on several mouthfuls of water, he grabs a floating log. Finally, he drifts to a dense rainforest. He slips and steps on something. Looking down, he finds that it's actually a large snake slough. Having grown up in the jungle, the boy is curious about unfamiliar things. Thinking it doesn't look like edible food, he throws it on the ground casually. He continues to walk deeper into the forest. No one knows if there are unknown creatures hidden in this forest. The little Mowgli is unaware that he is going to become a giant beast's feast. He climbs up a towering, ancient tree. The surrounding atmosphere is so profound and eerie. Suddenly, a python dozens of meters long appears ahead. It approaches Mowgli slowly and leisurely. It speaks to Mowgli in human language.
Poor, sweet little cub. What are you doing so deep in the jungle?
This is my home.
Don't you know what you are?
The python claims to possess magic. It can let him see scenes from his childhood. Then it locks eyes with the boy in front of it. In an instant, Mowgli gradually falls into a dizzy and disoriented state. Through the python's eyes, Mowgli sees himself as an infant. Several years ago, a father and son arrived at the wall of a deep cave. They had just lit a torch to warm themselves with the fire, and were about to sleep with the baby. A ferocious tiger appeared at the cave entrance. Upon seeing it, the man quickly grabbed the torch, trying to scare off the beast. But the tiger didn't feel the slightest fear. It struck the man down with one paw, claiming his life. During the struggle, the torch stabbed the tiger's eye. In excruciating pain, it howled and fled the cave, leaving the baby behind. Silence fell all around. The baby walked out of the dark cave. At this point, a strong black panther appeared ahead. It approached the tiny human slowly. Instead of being afraid, the baby even started playing with the black panther. In front of him, on the surface, the black panther looked huge and ferocious. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, the black panther entrusted the baby to a pack of wolves. For it knew well that only the powerful wolf pack could keep the young child safe and sound. As time passed, he grew up slowly under the care of the wolf race. Mowgli also integrated into the wolf race's world, learned the animal's language, and his every move took on the habits of a wolf. The Black Panther also became his only mentor, guiding him on how to survive in the jungle, and accompanying him as he grew step by step. Soon, the dry season arrived in the forest again. The last lake in the forest was also nearly drying up. This marked a truce period until the end of the dry season. All animals were required to abide by the forest rules. During the dry season, all animals drinking at the lake were prohibited from hunting. In these tense times, water was more urgent than meat. Hundreds of animals came to the lake one after another, bowing their heads to drink. Only Mowgli threw a turtle shell to scoop water. His strange behavior attracted the attention of all the animals. The difference between humans and animals is that humans possess wisdom, knowing how to use tools, but the Wolf King restricted this behavior of his, worried that it would create a rift between him and the other animals. The Wolf King's wish was to raise him as a member of the wolf race.
We'll make you a fine wolf yet.
What about me? Am I gonna be a fine wolf? Look at me howl.
In an instant, a piercing and imposing aura swept over. It made all the animals tremble with fear. The Wolf King quickly told Mowgli to hide behind him. A ferocious tiger approached them. It had already smelled the scent of a human. It threatened the Wolf King to hand over the human. As the Wolf King, how could it submit to this arrogant evil tiger?
Mowgli belongs to my pack, Shere Khan. Mowgli? They've given it a name. When was it we came to adopt man into the jungle?
The tiger, once harmed by humans, would naturally never let any human off easily. Luckily, it was currently the dry season. Bound by the forest laws, the tiger didn't dare to oppose the whole forest, so it made a bold declaration. When the rainy season arrived, it would mean Mowgli's day of death.
But ask yourselves, how many lives is a man cub worth?
The evil tiger left the warning and turned to leave. In the blink of an eye, the rainy season arrived. The lake gradually regained its deep water supply. The short and peaceful period was about to come to an end. Among the various animals, some were anxious, while others were relieved. The Wolf King knew well that the evil tiger would never give up easily, so the wolf race urgently summoned its leaders. They began to discuss whether to fight the tiger for the sake of a human. The wolf race had always been renowned for its unity, yet this time, many conflicts arose among the leaders. They discussed for a long time but failed to find any solution. Mowgli also realized that the wolf race would be endangered because of him. He chose to leave the wolf race alone. After careful consideration, the Black Panther decided that only taking Mowgli back to the human world could guarantee his safety. After all, it was the one who had sent Mowgli to the wolf race in the first place. Mowgli, who had been raised by the wolf mother with her own hands, was about to leave.
He's my cub.
We knew this day would come.
We are the only family he's ever known.
Raksha. It's the only place he'll be safe.
It resolutely tried to persuade Mowgli to stay, though the wolf mother was filled with deep reluctance. She finally agreed to the separation for Mowgli's safety. After an affectionate farewell to his family, Mowgli set off with the Black Panther to find the human settlement. The pair, one human, one panther, crossed turbulent waterfalls and climbed to the peaks of cliffs. Master and apprentice enjoyed the magnificent scenery along the way. During their journey, they met with several majestic elephants. The Black Panther told Mowgli to bow his head and knees in respect, for in the forest's laws, elephants are the dreamweavers who created the forest. They are gods of nature, worthy of the forest's highest praise. All creatures must meet them with awe and perform a kowtow. After the elephants slowly left, they resumed their journey. Yet Mowgli felt an immense emptiness in his heart. He still cherished the forest and the wolf race. He knew he was a human, but he also knew the forest and the wolf race were his home. Perhaps it was fear of the unknown world and avoidance of changes. At this point, the Black Panther stopped in his tracks. He immediately ordered Mowgli to lie down on the ground. Mowgli was still rambling on about his unwillingness, when in an instant, the Black Panther leaped with lightning speed. He used his own body to shield Mowgli from the tiger's attack. The sudden assault made Mowgli realize the danger at once. In the nick of time, Mowgli fled as fast as he could. To buy Mowgli time to escape, the Black Panther distracted the tiger, ignoring his own safety. The gap in their strength was simply too great. A single fierce paw strike from the tiger knocked the Black Panther unconscious. Freed from the distraction, the tiger accelerated toward Mowgli right away. The tiger ran swiftly, and the distance between him and Mowgli was rapidly narrowing. Suddenly, hundreds of panicked wild buffaloes charged over. They knocked the tiger to the ground in an instant. A deep hollow lay ahead. Mowgli didn't hesitate. He jumped sideways. As soon as he reached the bottom, the violent buffaloes surged toward him. His small figure dodged the fierce charges amid the herd. The tiger quickly caught up and immediately spotted Mowgli. It watched as Mowgli remained among the buffaloes. Mowgli knew that once the herd dispersed, he would surely fall prey to the tiger, so he jumped up and firmly grabbed a buffalo's horn. He rode away on this unexpected steed, disappearing without a trace from the tiger's sight, leaving the tiger to let out a deafening roar of frustration. Before long, the evil tiger arrived at the wolf race's den again. It demanded to know from the Wolf King where the boy was.
He's with his own kind now. So the man cub has left the jungle.
The Wolf King naively thought that as long as Mowgli was sent far away, the evil tiger would stop pestering them. The tiger said that since the boy was gone, it had no choice but to let go of the matter. But in the next second, it announced to the wolves that it would govern the area until the boy was found. It ordered them to spread the news that the Wolf King had died because of him. The evil tiger firmly believed that once the boy learned that the place where he grew up had been occupied by it, he would surely surrender voluntarily and walk into the trap. After the Wolf King's death, the wolf race was even more powerless to fight against the evil tiger. After escaping, Mowgli fell asleep on the back of a wild buffalo. He followed the herd to a narrow path halfway up a steep cliff. A downpour woke him up. When he opened his eyes wide, he found himself in a dangerous situation. At this point, he felt very terrified, but when he looked up, he realized that the real danger was above. The continuous heavy rain triggered a mountain debris flow. Big trees crashed down one after another, completely blocking the road ahead. The wild buffaloes fled backward in panic. The thick mountain mud above began to collapse. Luckily, he immediately grabbed a piece of driftwood floating on the water, and escaped from the clutches of death. Mowgli sat on the driftwood, and drifted along the current to a dense forest. The air was filled with an indescribable eerie atmosphere. In this mysterious dense forest, he suddenly ran into a huge python. The giant snake said it knew where Mowgli was from. At this point, Mowgli finally learned the truth about his origins.
Mostly men stay in their village, far from the dark of the jungle. Man's creation. It brings warmth and light, and destruction to all that it touches.
but the python spoke to him in an enchanting voice. Before he knew it, Mowgli was trapped by its captivating gaze. The python bewitched him completely, coiled tightly around him, and planned to swallow him whole. The python slowly opened its huge mouth, about to swallow Mowgli in one bite. In the nick of time, a figure suddenly jumped out. Mowgli was rescued from the claws of death once again. It turned out that a large bear had appeared just in time. It bit tightly onto the python's massive body. The two immediately started a fierce battle. When Mowgli slowly opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was a huge nose. He screamed in fright instantly.
Relax, kid. No need to get worked up, okay?
Where am I?
This is a cave. It's my cave.
Through the brown bear's narration, Mowgli's memories gradually became clear. At this point, he suddenly realized the brown bear in front of him was his savior. The brown bear didn't seem very modest. After confirming Mowgli was safe and sound, it said in an almost teasing tone, its help wasn't a free gift. The brown bear asked Mowgli to repay this kindness. It led Mowgli to the edge of a steep cliff, admitting that what it needed wasn't complicated. Climb up this not too high cliff, and collect the honey hanging on the cliff, under the bees' watchful eyes. Then their debt of gratitude would be completely settled.
You're kidding me, right?
No, not really.
I can get killed coming up there.
It turned out the brown bear had rescued Mowgli to use his human climbing skills to get the unattainable honey. Faced with the brown bear's persistence, Mowgli reluctantly agreed. He then displayed his talent for using tools. First, he cut strips of vine and broke off branches, then wrapped the vines around the cliff face. Like a skilled climber, he stepped into the heights. This scene gradually attracted some animals to come and watch. Mowgli held a vine in his left hand, and a stick tightly in his right. He struck the huge honeycomb several times in a row, but the unshakable honeycomb still hung on the cliff. The brown bear at the bottom of the cliff drooled, from time to time, constantly encouraging Mowgli to hit harder. Meanwhile, Mowgli was screaming in pain from the bee's stings. In the end, he reluctantly threw down the stick. The plump brown bear still acted like a mentor.
I would have done this myself, but I'm afraid of heights.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Why don't you mind your own business?
You can do it.
It turned out Mowgli had no intention of backing down. Instead, he used the vine to suspend himself in midair. He exerted all his strength and kicked the honeycomb repeatedly with his feet. A large piece of the honeycomb fell with a crash. It hit the little piglet watching by the cliff edge dead on. The drooling brown bear immediately dug into the sweet feast, not wanting to waste a single bit.
Oh yeah, exfoliate me.
Covered in bee stings, Mowgli angrily confronted it.
Said they didn't sting. What do you call this?
How the heck did you do that? Oh, those must have been females.
When the brown bear learned Mowgli was going to the human village, it hurried forward, speaking earnestly, trying to persuade him to stay and spend happy days with it in the forest. The brown bear deeply admired his abilities, but Mowgli always kept his mentor the Black Panther's advice in mind, and had to head to the human village. The brown bear generously offered to accompany him. Before long, they saw the village not far from the mountains, with lights glowing from the human settlement. Faced with the unfamiliar light, Mowgli hesitated. He had spent his whole childhood in the forest, and stepping into human life filled him with anxiety and uncertainty. As if sensing Mowgli's fear, the brown bear gently suggested a deal. It wanted to cooperate with him. If he helped stock up enough honey before winter came, the brown bear would accompany him to the village. After thinking it over, Mowgli agreed to the brown bear's proposal. Then they worked together, and with the tools Mowgli made, they quickly gathered enough honey for hibernation. Mowgli was also persuaded to stay there temporarily. As time passed, Mowgli gradually found his lost self. While staying with the brown bear day and night in the wolf race, he had only been taught not to use tricks, but here, he was encouraged to use his wisdom and show his true self. He was allowed to use his skills and methods appropriately to create various tools, thus starting his beekeeping career. He skillfully helped the brown bear collect more honeycombs, enjoying the constant natural gifts every day. The brown bear gradually developed deep trust in the boy, and they even became very close friends. Mowgli sat on its round belly, playing and singing happily in the river together. Perhaps for Mowgli, after leaving the wolf race, these were the most comfortable and wonderful days. The Black Panther had become Mowgli's life mentor, while the brown bear had become his closest confidant. As they sang joyfully, rustling sounds came from the grass. Mowgli immediately hid beside the brown bear, wondering if the evil tiger had found him again. But to his surprise, it was the Black Panther that appeared. Seeing his beloved mentor, Mowgli ran over excitedly, and led the Black Panther back to the cave. He eagerly showed his mentor the tools he had made, and his abundant achievements. When the Black Panther saw the dense array of tools in the cave, its expression darkened instantly. It severely reprimanded Mowgli, repeating that such tricks weren't allowed in the forest. Mowgli hastily tried to defend himself.
Free Baloo, get ready for hibernation.
Bears don't hibernate in a jungle.
He claimed he was only helping the brown bear prepare food for hibernation, but the Black Panther pointed out,
Con artist. He may not know your game, but I do. He's leaving now.
But I don't want to leave.
You don't have a choice!
It wanted Mowgli to follow it back to the human village the next day. Seeing the dispute between the two escalating, the brown bear began to act as a peacemaker.
Let's all get a good night's sleep, and we can talk about this in the morning.
Fine, but we're leaving first thing.
Mowgli was woken up by bursts of whimpering, and sneaked out to check. He instantly angered a group of elephants. Mowgli quickly bowed his head in respect, calming the elephants' anger. He then stepped forward to investigate. It turned out, a baby elephant had accidentally fallen into a deep ditch. Still struggling desperately, the adult elephants beside the ditch trumpeted anxiously non-stop. Mowgli ran back to the cave, fetched the vine he had woven, and used human ingenuity once again. First, he wrapped the vine around the baby elephant's body, tying the other end to an adult elephant's trunk. Soon, with his human strategy, he successfully pulled the baby elephant out of the deep ditch. The Black Panther, watching this scene, remained opposed. It was quite dissatisfied with the boy's use of such tricks. In the Black Panther's eyes, no matter where one was, being an outsider made it hard to gain acceptance, and often led to exclusion. This was why the Black Panther had always taught him not to use tricks, hoping he could become one of the animals. But when it saw Mowgli using his tricks to save the baby elephant from danger, the Black Panther had to admit, it secretly questioned if it had been too stubborn. Yet the evil tiger was truly cunning and ferocious. The brown bear beside them still tried to persuade the Black Panther to let Mowgli stay. Although his arrival had disrupted the forest's laws, only this human could bring hope to the forest. Through his unique methods, left with no choice, the Black Panther revealed Mowgli's true identity to the brown bear.
Not any tiger. Shere Khan.
Shere Khan's hunting him? Oh. We should send him back to the wolf pack. Who's their alpha? Akela. He can protect him.
Akela is dead.
But when the brown bear learned it was the one-eyed tiger, it finally realized the urgency of the situation. Then the brown bear said a series of words against its conscience to Mowgli, saying that winter had arrived and Mowgli could leave now. But Mowgli still couldn't bear to leave. The brown bear had to harden its heart.
Do I have to spell this out?
I don't want you around anymore.
After hearing the brown bear's words, Mowgli turned around sadly and ran out. He felt that his sincerity had been met with others' calculations, so he climbed a towering tree and sat there, immersed in sorrow. At this point, a naughty little monkey jumped over to pester him. Mowgli shouted angrily for it to go away.
Go away.
Suddenly, a pair of invisible hands lifted him up. Then he was passed from one monkey to another, being taken to the far end of the forest. Mowgli's cries alerted the Black Panther. It quickly climbed the tree to save Mowgli, but the gibbons whisked him away in an instant. The Black Panther could only watch helplessly as Mowgli was taken. The gibbons nimbly held Mowgli and leaped lightly between the branches, with the monkeys passing him along one after another. Meanwhile, the brown bear and the Black Panther chased desperately on the ground. They ran to a riverbank, which blocked their path of rescue. While the Black Panther was still hesitating, the brown bear jumped into the river without hesitation.
Come on, jump, and watch the claws.
The Black Panther no longer hesitated either. It resolutely used the brown bear as a springboard, and leaped over the turbulent river in one bound. In the blink of an eye, the monkeys dragged Mowgli out of the forest, climbing up to the edge of a steep cloud-kissed cliff. In an instant, they threw him onto the top of the cloud cliff. When Mowgli came to his senses, the sight before him left him dumbfounded. An ancient palace was actually hidden in the forest, and inside the palace, there were thousands of monkeys. At the same time, the brown bear and the Black Panther hurried over. They raced all the way to the bottom of the cliff, and looked up at the dizzying height. On ordinary days, the majestic brown bear's legs trembled with fear at this point. Although the brown bear was usually good at teasing others, its heart was kind. It had silently regarded Mowgli as family. It summoned up its courage, and joined hands with the Black Panther, to climb the cliff with all its might. Even though the brown bear was a bit gluttonous, it was still agile. Before long, they successfully climbed to the top of the cliff. Without time to catch their breath, they headed toward the palace. Mowgli was pushed and shoved by the monkeys. As he got into the palace, there were also many human artifacts placed inside the palace. No one knew who the true owner of this palace was. A large furry palm stretched out from behind him, casually picked up a fresh fruit from the ground, and then disappeared into the darkness inside. Just as Mowgli was feeling confused, the animal inside suddenly spoke.
I am the king of the Badalag. Call me Louis.
It turned out to be a giant monkey king. It was not only the ruler of this palace, but also the supreme monarch governing the monkey clan. The monkey king had abducted him here to make a simple deal. The monkey king could receive intelligence from the whole forest, and knew the evil tiger had issued a warrant for the boy's death, the Monkey King generously offered to provide him with supreme protection, but it wasn't free. He needed to teach it how to use fire in return. Mowgli confessed to the Monkey King, having grown up in the forest since childhood, he had never had any contact with the human world. He knew nothing at all about how to make fire, so he couldn't meet the Monkey King's request. The Monkey King insisted that the human in front of him must teach it how to make fire no matter what. As it rambled on, its expression suddenly changed. Just at this time, the brown bear appeared suddenly, drawing all the monkeys' attention to itself. As soon as the brown bear stepped into the territory, it began to shower the Monkey King with praise, unleashing its extraordinary talent for charming others. After a long and boastful speech, all the monkeys present were left dumbfounded, while everyone was still immersed in its words. The Black Panther sneaked in silently from the side, and gave Mowgli a subtle look. Mowgli understood. Instantly, the two quietly slipped away while the monkeys weren't looking. During their escape, a monkey secretly spotted them. Seeing the plan uncovered, they ran as fast as they could. The Monkey King could no longer contain its anger, and ordered its lackeys to capture them. In an instant, the monkeys chased after them in full force. The brown bear and the Black Panther told Mowgli to escape first, stepping forward to delay the monkeys as much as possible. Undoubtedly, the monkeys swarmed toward them from all directions. The two beasts engaged in battle with the monkeys, but the brown bear's body was too bulky to move freely in the narrow space. At this point, the Monkey King inside the palace could no longer contain itself. Though the Monkey King was bulky in stature, it moved with surprising agility. Before Mowgli could escape, the Monkey King was already standing tall at the exit outside the palace.
I'll go back to the pack. I'll go back to Akela.
Akela? Oh. You didn't hear? Shere Khan killed him. Must have been on account of you.
The boy couldn't accept the news of the Wolf King's death, and immediately turned around to run up to the second floor of the palace. Luckily, the staircase was narrow, making it difficult for the bulky Monkey King to pass through, but it still refused to give up, smashing through the floor of the second floor with incredible strength. Mowgli hid behind a thick pillar before it could catch up, watching the Monkey King's every move. After searching for a while and failing to find Mowgli, the Monkey King left on its own. Mowgli finally let out a sigh of relief, feeling at ease. The next second, in this narrow palace, the Monkey King could only rely on brute force to keep smashing the stone pillars. Mowgli ran frantically outward, and just as he was about to be caught by the Monkey King's huge hand, he summoned up his courage and leaped onto a big tree with all his strength. The Monkey King still refused to give up on learning the human skill of making fire, so it kept chasing him. The surrounding beams and columns were constantly being knocked down by it, and without the support of the beams and columns, the palace began to totter. In the end, the Monkey King's recklessness backfired, and it was buried under the ruins. When the monkeys saw this, they immediately stopped fighting, rushing anxiously toward their monarch. Although Mowgli had temporarily escaped the crisis, his heart was far from calm. The Wolf King, who had loved and cared for him since childhood, was killed by the tiger because of him. He wanted to avenge the Wolf King. From the Monkey King, he learned that mastering human fire meant having the power to rule the forest. So after running day and night, he finally reached the human village. There, he saw the brilliant flames, and the scar in the tiger's eye was also left by this fire. To defend his home, Mowgli quietly stole a burning torch from the village, preparing to fight back against the evil tiger. Then he began to run toward the wolf race's territory. On his way back, the spark from the torch accidentally fell onto the grass on the ground. An eagle sentinel spotted the human holding fire, and it quickly flew through the whole forest to spread the alarm. The forest dwellers fell into panic in an instant, scattering in all directions. They kept passing the news to each other. Before long, the animals gathered at the lake spontaneously. At the same time, Mowgli rushed over holding the torch high, and shouted at the top of his lungs, Now, holding the torch in his hand, he was no longer afraid, but the tiger looked at him calmly, and said in a leisurely manner,
No. I think they're afraid of something else now.
Mowgli turned around and was horrified to find that his ignorance had led to a terrible mistake. When he turned around again, he saw that the surrounding animals were fleeing from him in terror, not daring to get close. Even his wolf brothers, who had been with him every day, dared not approach at this point. His recklessness had filled the animals with fear. But this was exactly what the evil tiger wanted. Faced with the burning torch in Mowgli's hand, the evil tiger still hesitated, and didn't dare to act rashly for the time being, so it continued to incite the animals' emotions. Under the gaze of all the animals, it accused Mowgli of all his faults as a human being. It said that humans only brought endless disasters to this forest. How could the innocent Mowgli know the evil tiger's scheme?
Come now. Use the red flower. Use it on me like your father did.
Overwhelmed with guilt, he threw away the torch in his hand. With the threat of fire gone, the evil tiger became even more unscrupulous, approaching the helpless Mowgli slowly, planning to put the human in front of it to death. In the nick of time, the surrounding animals had already distinguished right from wrong. They gathered around Mowgli naturally to protect him. The tiger was furious. Its authority wouldn't tolerate provocation from anyone, so it pounced suddenly, aiming to kill all the guardians in one go. The brown bear took the lead in launching a fierce fight. The evil tiger was truly worthy of its reputation as the forest overlord. In the end, the brown bear couldn't withstand the tiger's fierce attack. The tiger clung on with its bite, refusing to let go. At this point, the wolf race rushed forward like a storm. Mowgli also charged over to fight the evil tiger alongside them. The Black Panther suddenly appeared and pinned him to the ground, telling him not to act recklessly. He needed to learn to fight the evil tiger in a human way. Mowgli had an epiphany after hearing this. He ran desperately toward the burning forest. Even though the wolf race started a fierce siege on the tiger, it couldn't shake the evil tiger's dominant position at all. When the tiger saw Mowgli fleeing into the forest, it lost all interest in the fight. Struggling frantically to break free from the wolf race's entanglement, it chased after Mowgli in triumph. Just as the evil tiger was about to catch up with Mowgli, the Black Panther appeared out of nowhere and tackled the tiger to the ground, buying Mowgli more time to escape. Unluckily, the Black Panther was no match for the tiger. It was severely knocked down by the tiger's paw. In its rage, the fierce tiger opened its jaws wide, aiming for the panther's vital spot. Luckily, the wolf race arrived just in time. In the blink of an eye, the tiger broke free from the wolf race's grip, rushing deeper into the forest once more. At this time, the flames in the forest were growing more intense. Mowgli ran to a withered tree. In an instant, a clever idea popped into his mind. He took out a gravel and skillfully cut the tangled vines. Everything was ready. He threw the prepared tool without hesitation. As soon as he turned around, he saw the evil tiger was already below. Little did it know, it had fallen into a carefully laid trap. The majestic tiger was surprisingly skilled at climbing trees. In the blink of an eye, it reached a single plank bridge hanging high in the sky. Mowgli, with his small body, walked step by step toward the precarious end of the treetop. Seeing Mowgli had nowhere to run, the evil tiger was about to stride forward, when it suddenly heard a hissing sound under its feet. It couldn't help but stop in its tracks. It looked down at the raging sea of fire below. Seeing Mowgli was trapped with no way out, the evil tiger showed an evil smile. At this point, seeing the evil tiger hesitated to approach, Mowgli provoked it. Provoked by these teasing words, the evil tiger's anger surged in an instant. It could no longer contain its madness. It bared its fangs and pounced at Mowgli, only to miss. Mowgli dodged nimbly, leaping and grabbing the pre-prepared vine. Only then did the evil tiger realize it had fallen into the human's trap. But it was too late. The evil tiger's arrogance sealed its fate. It finally perished in the raging flames. In the end, Mowgli also avenged the Wolf King and his father, yet he still couldn't bring himself to be happy. The towering flames below were caused by him. Helpless, he worried about going back to the wolf race, not knowing how to account to all the animals. He walked slowly with a frown, when suddenly, the elephants, the guardians of the jungle, appeared ahead. Mowgli hastily bowed his head in worship, to protect their green home, and to repay Mowgli for saving the baby elephant earlier. The herd of elephants traveled tirelessly, to help put out the fire. With their majestic bodies, they pushed down big trees, rolled up huge logs with their trunks to build a barrier along the river, then used their sharp tusks to dig a water channel. Using the endless flow of the waterfall, they extinguished the burning forest completely, successfully preserving a safe haven for the animals. After this heroic struggle, Mowgli gained the unanimous praise of all creatures in the forest. With his own strength, he miraculously united all living beings in the forest, forming a solid and united defense. The film ends here. As sunlight filters through the jungle leaves and falls on the shiny fur of Baloo the brown bear, each hair trembles gently with his breath, his shadow dances with the ripples in the stream behind him. The Jungle Book redefines realism through technology. The team, consisting of special effects elites from Avatar and Life of Pi, spent 3 years creating more than 70 types of CG animals. From the saliva at Shere Khan the tiger's mouth, to the muscle texture under the python's scales, all achieved a level of authenticity that is indistinguishable from reality. The film strikes a balance between the playfulness of the 1967 animated version and the darkness of Kipling's original work. Mowgli, raised by wolves, embarks on a journey of exile after being hunted by Shere Khan, under the guidance of the Black Panther and the companionship of the Brown Bear. He completes his understanding of self-identity. The core of this growth arc lies in the changing attitude toward fire, from a destructive sin in the Black Panther's eyes, to an evolutionary key coveted by King Louie the orangutan. It finally becomes Mowgli's tool to save the jungle. This symbol accurately hits the essence of growth. The unique creativity of human civilization is both constructive and destructive. When Mowgli uses vines to make tools and help Baloo collect honey, it's the gentle transformation of nature by civilization. When he sets the forest on fire for revenge, but then guides the elephants to divert water to put it out, he completes his understanding of the boundaries of power. Unluckily, the film fails to explore this core in depth. Shere Khan's hatred is only attributed to his scar from humans, lacking an exploration of the contradictions in jungle laws. King Louie's power hunger arc ends hastily, missing an opportunity to reflect on the alienation of civilization. The film's shortcomings are as prominent as its strengths. 11-year-old Neil Sethi achieves the miracle of performing without physical props in front of a green screen. When he roars at the air to dodge the tiger, or presses against props to simulate floating on a bear's back, the fear and dependence in his eyes are highly contagious, but limited by the shooting schedule and the child actor's training time. His stiff line delivery still makes some interaction scenes feel distant. The cliched plot has become a bigger point of contention. From the classic framework of exile, meeting a mentor, growing, and returning home, to the forced happy ending of elephants putting out the fire, the simplified narrative logic prevents the film from reaching the depth of Zootopia. Yet it's commendable that the voice actors have breathed life into the CG animals. Ben Kingsley's Black Panther is both majestic and gentle. Scarlett Johansson's Python weaves fatal temptation with her whispers. Bill Murray's Brown Bear vividly portrays laziness and loyalty. These vocal performances perfectly match the subtle facial expressions captured by the special effects team, serving as a bridge between technology and emotion. In short, The Jungle Book is more like an experiment of technology and fairy tales. It reconstructs the grandeur of nature with pixels, endows animals with emotions through special effects, yet stays within the safe zone of a children's fable. In terms of narrative depth, when the flames on the screen go out, what remains for the audience is not only admiration for the fur effects, but also a superficial reflection on how civilization coexists with nature. Perhaps, just like the fire in Mowgli's hand, the power of technology finally needs the guidance of a humanistic core. The value of this film lies not only in showing the ultimate possibility of dream-making, but also in reminding us that the most touching fantasy always stems from the faint light of real human nature.